I've never really had issues with professors before. The professors that I've had, I would say they were pretty noble. They were like pretty much Jonathan fucking Joestar over here, just helping me with all the issues that I've had. You know, if I did anything wrong, if I needed any help with a certain question, hell, if I needed someone to wipe my ass on the toilet, they would be more than happy to oblige. They would help me out in whatever the way they could. So I appreciate that. And up until last semester, the streak was going well. And then I met a professor that was an absolute bag of dicks. This professor can suck the farts right off my ass. So, last semester I took a course called Differential Equations, and for most people, I'm guessing that it just struck PTSD in your hearts, and I don't blame you. This course is notoriously hard, difficult, and all that shit. For me, it was more tedious than any of that. It wasn't really that hard. It was just memorizing the methods that he needed to solve these questions, and I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the professor. This is basically the meat of what I'm trying to get into. The fucking professor of this course, the scumbag that I had to take this course with. So it all started back in the cold month of December or January. Sorry, I'm getting my timeline mixed up. That's how much this professor has scarred me. So it all started back in January, the cold month of January. But nothing was colder than this professor's heart. If I held liquid nitrogen on my hand for like 5 years, it wouldn't even come close to the coldness of this professor's heart if I held it for a second. That liquid nitrogen would feel like lava on my hand compared to that. It is so cold. And when I walked into that classroom for the first time, there was so much tension in the air. I damn near fell to my knees. It was kind of like in Bleach, where Kenpachi releases spiritual pressure and everyone just like fell down. That's kind of basically what happened to us and the students. I saw a girl damn near cry because they saw the professor. Our professor basically got replaced by someone else. So this new professor was taking up the place of the old professor because their class was full, and we had to kind of split into two classes. So I sat next to this guy and asked him about the professor. Why is everyone so angry? What's going on with this professor? Why is everyone kind of like tense around them? And this guy said something that kind of worried me. Not kind of, that did really worry me, which is that the professor had a bunch in the last semester that really scarred him mentally. They mentally abused this guy. They were cheating. They were fucking devils. They basically tortured him from how he like explained it. Basically, what they did was they cheated, and this guy got real pissed about it. And now we're facing us, the new fresh meat that came into this course. We're gonna be facing the consequences of their actions. We're the patient zero of his experiment here, unfortunately, and yeah, I appreciate him for telling me that. And I was praying that he was wrong, and it's all just a lie from Big Pharma or something. But unfortunately, he was right. The professor did lay down some new ground rules for this course. And let me just compare this to what you would usually see in a differential equations course, at least from my university and from what I've heard from the other professors. So first things first, differential equations. You're not supposed to memorize all the methods that you would need to solve these differential equations. So what you would have is that the exams and the quizzes, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it would be open note. You would refer to some kind of thing, that paper that you have on how you would solve different problems. And so you would have this cheat sheet in front of you, and that would help you with the exams. And also something else, another safety net that they laid out. It's not necessary, but that most courses have, is obviously the partial credits. The one that's very common. So you would show your work, and if you got the answer wrong, miscalculation, your calculator exploded or some shit, I don't know, you stuck it up your ass. The partial credits would help you get some credits if you got the work right at the very least, and that would help. So those are the two biggest things about differential equations, the most common safety nets that the professors would have to put up. So they ensure that not all of the students fail, because again, it's a notoriously hard course. I don't care what you smartasses would say, the people that would say that this course is easy, that no one has difficulty with differential equations. You're just stupid. A lot of people do, and I didn't really find it difficult. Just so you guys know, it was just tedious. But anyways, let me get into the new ground rules here. The new rules of the Fight Club that this scumbag has put up. So the first rule is that there are no partial credits anymore. So if you have to show your work. It is mandatory that you show your work. You have to do it if you want to get credit on the questions. So you have to show your work, but there is no partial credit. Either you get a 0 or a 100. You get the answer right or not. And also something else is that the exams and the quizzes will be conducted on a computer. So it's online, but you would have to be present in the class. You would have to go sign your name and stay in the class, and then once you leave, you have to sign out and stuff like that. So that's how that went. But at the very least, you have your notes, right? It's open note. You have your cheat sheet. You're not completely fucked, right? No, you're wrong. Also, the last rule that I didn't mention is that it was gonna be closed note. You would have to practically memorize the methods. You would have to know all the steps in your head. Praying for you if you're gonna be doing the final exam, because it's a fucking cumulative. You're gonna have to memorize every single method up until that point of how to solve differential equations. Perfect, right? So that's basically how the exams and the quizzes were going to be conducted. And the good news is that the exams and the quizzes accumulate up to 80% of your grade. So let's say that you get the 20% from your homework and you get a 50% on the quizzes and the exams, you failed the course. Good job. So yeah, this professor basically fucked us with these new rules. And I had to lock in. I had to really, study for this course. I didn't. I didn't really lock in. I thought that I could get away with that because I just had a big ego. I was doing so well in my other courses. I got humbled on this one. The first exam, I ate absolute shit. I think I got like a 33% or something like that. It was like I only got 3 out of 9 questions right. And it sucked. I felt so terrible when I first got that. But I was like, no, this is just a fluke. I still have 2 more tests left and a final and a bunch of quizzes. So I'm pretty sure I do well. The next exam rolls up. And it's a cumulative of this one and the last one. So I would have the questions in front of me and a blank sheet of paper, and I'd stare at the paper, hoping, praying that somehow the equations would fall onto the paper, and I would get like some kind of cheat sheet because I was so fucking lost. Nothing was getting into my head, and that exam I think I got like a 4 out of 9. So that's kind of better, even with like the bit of studying that I did. And then test 3 rolled up, and at this point I was just like kind of giving up, but at the same time I had hope. So I studied even harder. I started to kind of memorize the methods and all of that. And on that exam I think I got like a 4 out of 8, like a 50%. And it was kind of a small improvement. And I was like, maybe there's a chance. So now I'm at the final. I needed like an 80% on the final to pass. So it was terrible. I had studied so much. I actually lost a ton of sleep because of that course. I had studied so much trying to like cram in so much like methods and stuff like that in order to solve like these differential equations. And when the final came around, lo and behold, I still failed. And now I'm retaking the course. I'm like, my review's open right now. I'm staring at my review for the next upcoming test. I'm taking the course now in summer with a different professor. But the last professor was just terrible. So I'm taking this course right now, and my professor, the current one that I'm taking the course with, is so much better than my last professor. The difference here is insane. It's like yin and yang. It's like apple and butter. It's like Dying Light 1 and 2. Dying Light 1 is good. Dying Light 2 is dog shit. And in this case, the professor is Dying Light 1, and the last one was Dying Light 2. So I just wanted to talk about this a bit because, taking this course, it's reminding me of how much more different things could have been with the last differential equations course. I'm not cheating by that. I'm not using ChatGPT or anything. I am just studying here. I'm using my open notes. I have a cheat sheet in front of me here, like on my fucking iPad that I'm gonna print out and bring with me. Had I had this, I 100% would have not just passed the class. I would have done very well. But unfortunately, this professor had to take out his fucking anger on us, the class. We had to face the consequences. We had to be the patient zero of his experiment because the last course there was like one guy maybe who cheated allegedly. I don't even get why he fucking does this. So I just wanted to express my frustration. I know that maybe some of you guys, you've also had shitty professors, but this is the first time I've ever had to deal with someone this like petty. Honestly, the petty is the only word I can think for this professor here. And that's pretty much it.